Hello, I'm Dr. Tim Orr. If you're watching this, it is likely because you recognize something important. In today's cultural moment, most churches are not strategically prepared to engage Muslims in a theologically clear and confident way. We care about the gospel. We want to love our Muslim neighbors faithfully. But good intentions are not a strategy. As Islam becomes more visible in our communities, and as younger Christians wrestle with pluralism and competing truth claims, the absence of defined framework creates real vulnerability. Leaders hesitate, messaging becomes inconsistent, members avoid conversations altogether. And over time, clarity erodes. This is not simply a theological issue, it's a leadership and strategy issue. That's why this consulting process exists. This is not a seminar, it's not a generic teaching. It is a strategic advisory process tailored to your church size, structure, and leadership culture. We begin with a 30-minute church engagement strategy assessment. In that session, we diagnose three critical areas: your theological framework, your leadership readiness, and your strategic pathway. But the implementation looks different depending on the size of your church. If your church is under 300, the strategy is typically leadership centered. We focus on aligning elders or key leaders, clarifying theological posture, and developing a simple, sustainable pathway that doesn't overwhelm limited staff capacity. The goal is clarity and unity at the top, so the church moves forward steadily. If your church is between 300 and 1,000, the work becomes structural. We address staff assignment, ministry integration, and communication strategy. We identify how this integrates into preaching, discipleship environments, small groups, and outreach efforts. The emphasis shifts from individual clarity to organizational cohesion. If your church is between 1,000 and 2,000, the process becomes layered. We work at executive and elder level to establish theological and strategic alignment. Then we develop department level implementation, equipping pastors, ministry directors, and group leaders so messaging and posture remains unified across the church. In each case, the principles remain the same, but the structure adapts to your leadership complexity and organizational scale. At the end of the initial assessment, I outline a tailored engagement roadmap specific to your church size and content. If we determine it's a fit to move forward, I'll present a structured consulting pathway to help you implement that strategy in a sustainable way. The goal is not simply information, the goal is strategic clarity. Clarity in your theological posture, clarity in your leadership alignment, clarity in how your church communicates and engages in a pluralistic culture. When clarity increases, confidence follows. And when confidence is rooted in sound theology, faithful witness becomes natural rather than hesitant. If you know your church needs that kind of clarity, I invite you to schedule the church engagement strategy assessment. It is focused, it is diagnostic, and it will give you a clear understanding of where you stand and what your next steps should be. I look forward to speaking with you.